One Zambia, one nation. This is the main news at 19 hours here on ZNBC television. To present the news, my name is Penny Fanyarenda and our sign language interpreter is Pastor Johannes Getan. Here is what's making headlines. President Edgar Lungu says government will move in and secure gold deposit areas that have been discovered in some parts of Mwinilunga district. The Ministry of Mines has started the process of tracking all idle mining licenses which are to be revoked following President Lungu's directive. Researchers at the University of Zambia School of Agriculture have discovered an indigenous tree which can change the sex of fish from female to male. That's why in the headlines, the Zambia Table Tennis Association faction groups have agreed to hold elections to usher in a new executive committee. Thank you so much for joining us. Here now is the news in detail. President Edgar Lungu says government will move in and secure gold deposit areas that have been discovered in some parts of Mwinilunga district. President Lungu says he is aware of the areas where the mineral has been discovered and that government will ensure that the law is followed in the business. The head of state says people with licenses and those eligible to do the job will be allowed to explore the area after government secures the place. The president said he will not allow a situation where people move from different parts of the country to scramble for the precious mineral. President Lungu was speaking to journalists after concluding his 3-day working visit to Northwestern Province today.
We have heard stories of gold, and it's true, the gold deposit discovered there. But as government would like to do things within law and order. You've seen pictures of people gold rush, reminiscent of the 18th century or 17th century gold rush in some parts of Africa. But we can't have that. So we have to secure the areas and ensure that people with the licenses and the eligible to do the job. I'm told the Mwinilunga is full, there is no bed space, and people are sleeping and camping all over. And you need to visit so you can get the facts for yourselves. It's amazing. Some of the stories are bordering on myth, but the truth is there is a gold deposit there, but we don't know to what extent. And there was a license holder, small-scale license holder, who was prospecting, and he just went home, the swamped. And so, but as government, we need to preserve law and order and ensure that business is done within the law and mining is done within the regulations. Otherwise we'll have chaos there.
And Mines Minister Richard Musukwa says he has commenced the process of tracking all idle mining licenses to be revoked following President Lungu's directive. Mr. Musukwa says he has since constituted a team of mining officials to be dispatched in Northwestern Province to retrieve all idle mining licenses that are held for speculative purpose. Mr. Musukwa says all the local and foreign investors that have not operationalized their mining licenses are in breach of the Mining Act, which requires them to begin making use of the license within 90 days. And President Lungu says politicians should be blamed for the recent tribal fights that occurred between the Luvale and Lunda people in Zambezi, Northwestern Province. President Lungu says this is because the fights were also fueled by some politicians who have continued promoting tribalism every time they speak to the people. The head of state was speaking during a church service at the Evangelical Church in Zambia, Bethel Congregation in Solwezi today. President Lungu also said there is no reason why Zambians should fight when the country was founded on Christian principles.
What was happening there in Zambezi was demarcating an area where we will have a constituency where one person will become a member of parliament, either in Luvale or Lunda. And this Lunda thinks I will be disadvantaged, or this Luvale thinks I will be disadvantaged. Politicians. Chairs began flying all over. It's a shame. If we allow this to continue, it will be destroyed. So pray for the politicians, starting from me to the others in the opposition party, so that we kill this spirit of tribalism. Here we are. Lunda, Luvale, Choko, Mbunda, you name it, we are all here worshiping God. But immediately we leave, we begin saying, oh, Lungu doesn't like this tribe because they pose a threat. It is now political. It is not even true, because God in His own time will give us a leader. The songs you did here were revealing enough. You can do what you want to do, but God in His own time knows whom He will provide you for leadership, or who will emerge as a leader to take over from me when that time comes.
And church presiding pastor Crispin Lutuna has urged Zambians to stand firm and pray for the country. He also thanked President Lungu for always engaging the church in the governance of the country.
To ensure that there is peace. So Jesus says, watch out, because in this space, as we are waiting for my coming, deceivers will come. And he mentions that many will come in my name. Not so. He says they'll come in the name of Christ.
All right, stay with us here for a second.
We are living in a world where many people who know some people that are important in society, they would want to use the names of those that are in authority to get what they want. They go out collecting monies in the name per se of the president, in the name of the director, in the name of the chief, in the name of the pastor, in the name of every person that is in authority. They go out and deceive in order to get what they want.
Meanwhile, President Lungu has requested the people of Northwestern Province to propose to him developmental projects that should be undertaken in the region, apart from the ones he has initiated. President Lungu said this when he addressed Solwezi Patriotic Front PF members at Kansanshi Lodge in Solwezi last evening. The head of state has, however, reiterated that he will ensure that his administration shares the national treasury equally with all the provinces, including regions where people did not vote for him. President Lungu said Northwestern Province has witnessed unprecedented development since the PF administration came into power. Among them, the opening of mining companies, the construction of the Solwezi-Chingola Road, and other infrastructure projects. The head of state has also assured party members that the PF will win the 2021 general election, as can be evidenced by a number of by-elections that the party has won in the province.
Because we've already given an example of what we can do, and we continue doing. But my fear is that probably I don't talk to you carefully and closely to know exactly what you want. What is it that you want? Amen. We continue with the road in 2016, despite having suffered the heavy loss, and the road is complete. I will commission it very shortly, and I'm very proud I delivered the road. But the question is, what do you want to do? Is it development through PF, or is development through some other forces? Because if it's development through some other forces, I can assure you, Zambians in 2021 are still going to vote for PF.
Earlier, PF National Chairperson and President Lungu's campaign manager Samuel Mukupa urged party members to mobilize themselves and recruit new members. And former Movement for Multi-Party Democracy MMD Kasempa Member of Parliament, who is also former Foreign Affairs Minister Kabinga Pande, attended the meeting and encouraged party members to support President Lungu. And Northwestern Province PF Chairman Jackson Kungo said the party is intact and getting stronger every day.
Northwestern Province incessantly to show that he loves you, to show that we must move together, and that you deserve, like every other Zambian, this amount of development and even much more.
Chief Chikanta of the Tonga-speaking people of Southern Province has urged leaders at various levels to adopt programs that promote peace and unity in the country. Chief Chikanta says Zambians should love one another, as this is good for national development. He says the One Zambia, One Nation motto is a powerful tool which should not be allowed to die.
Zambians that One Zambia, One Nation motto is a very serious issue because it brings the people of Zambia together, all the 73 tribes of Zambia. They are well embraced in that motto, and we must also, as citizens, and also as traditional leaders in this country, we must promote and encourage the One Zambia, One Nation. And one of the ways of doing this is to meet in environments like this one we are meeting here, in environments like the expo that is coming to Northwestern this month. We should all be there. And also come and attend the Southern Province Expo. That is one way of promoting One Zambia, One Nation.
Southern Province Permanent Secretary Mwangala Liomba says the province will soon become a mining giant in the country once the mineral resources are exploited. Mr. Liomba says government will use the Southern Province Investment and Tourism Expo to attract investment in the sector. He also said the province will use the expo to reclaim its status as a giant in agriculture and livestock. Mr. Liomba also says preparations for the expo are going on well, with a number of companies promising to work with government to make the event a success.
The Southern Province has been known predominantly for many years as a province for agriculture. But today some of you might be interested to know that is also a mining province. The best gemstone, amethyst in the world. Yes, it is found in Mapatiza, which is in Zimba and Kalomo, Kariba minerals. That's the best. But not much has been talked about that. And I want to showcase to the world that this is what we have. Secondly, we have the longest belt of coal all the way up to Zimbabwe. You know, Mamba coal it has been there for quite some time, but not fully exploited.
Transport and Communications Minister Mutotwe Kafwaya has urged truck drivers to disregard voice and text messages circulating on social media by a selection of serving and non-serving drivers who are inciting other drivers to go on a work stoppage. Mr. Kafwaya says those that are inciting other drivers to go on work stoppage are doing so without respecting the process that has been agreed upon by the unions and Ministries of Transport and Labour and Social Security. And Mr. Kafwaya has with immediate effect stopped transporters from giving jobs to foreign drivers and instead engaged the local drivers. Mr. Kafwaya said government is concerned with the conduct of some transporters that pay meager salaries to their drivers and will ensure that conditions of service for drivers are harmonized and improved. He said going forward, government will immediately embark on consultations to consider implementing sector-based minimum wage for the transport sector. The minister further said his ministry remains open to positive contribution from all Zambians to enable the country achieve the vision of Zambia becoming the hub of transport and logistics in Southern Africa by 2030. This is according to a statement issued to ZNBC News in Lusaka today. Agriculture Minister Michael Katambo says there is need to diversify the economy through industrialization. Mr. Katambo says it is through industrialization that Zambia can assure food security and job creation. Meanwhile, Ministry of Commerce Permanent Secretary Kayula Siame has urged parastatal companies to be innovative and enable the country achieve its industrialization agenda. Mrs. Siame was speaking when she visited the ZNBC stand, where she commended the institution for embracing innovations to improve its operations and expressed her ministry's desire to work with the national broadcaster. Here's a report.
Minister of Commerce and Industry Permanent Secretary Kayula Siame stood some stands at the ongoing Agriculture and Commercial Show in Lusaka. This year's show is being held under the theme Embracing Industrial Development. Among the stands she toured is that of ZNBC. Whilst at the ZNBC stand, Ms. Siame expressed happiness with the levels of innovation that the company has taken in order to improve its operations.
That's what industrialization is about, innovation. If you don't put in innovation, then industrialization moves much slower. If we have parastatals like you, as ZNBC, being innovative I think that will really, really support our industrialization drive. So it shows that we are really embracing industrialization.
Yes, now we are.
And ZNBC Corporate Affairs Manager Yvette Chanda pledged the corporation's commitment to supporting various developmental programs under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry.
The game show.
That's a few minutes ago where we're actually giving out giveaways. Then local companies are advertising on that show.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's for because you want some money to come into the
It has to be a win-win.
Yes, it has to be a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Then we have another one which we record at 15 hours, the Tenga Game Show. That's another commercial with Atlas Mara. So they are also putting some money into the institution.
From here, Misiame toured the stand for the Southern Province Investment and Tourism Expo. Meanwhile, Agriculture Minister Michael Katambo has called for the promotion of diversification and value addition in the agriculture sector.
From the agricultural sector point of view, and indeed other sectors, this theme fits very well as a nation is striving to industrialize in order to diversify the economy and assure food security and job creation and poverty reduction.
Hector Simfukwe, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
President Edgar Lungu is tomorrow expected in Mozambique to attend the signing ceremony of Peace and Reconciliation Agreement between President Filipe Nyusi and opposition Renamo leader Osufo Momade. The landmark event is scheduled to take place in Maputo on the 16th of August following a long-term peace pledge between the two parties which signed the agreement on 1st August. The president will be in Mozambique at the invitation of that country's President Nyusi as chairperson of the SADC organ on politics, defense and security operation. President Lungu will leave for Mozambique at 15 hours. This is according to a statement issued to ZNBC by State House Press Assistant to the President, Isaac Chipambe. Information and Broadcasting Services Minister Dora Silia says her ministry will in the next few weeks call for an Indaba to discuss the future of film in Zambia. The minister further says government has invested heavily in digital migration, which has in turn tremendously reduced the cost of transmitting content to viewers. This is contained in a speech delivered on her behalf by Acting Director, Press and Media Development, Modern Mayembe, at the Shungu Namutitima International Film Festival closing dinner in Livingstone. Here's a report.
The 14th edition of the Shungu Namutitima International Film Festival has come to a close in Livingstone after 9 days of activities. Information and Broadcasting Services Minister Dola Siria was represented at the closing dinner last evening by Acting Director, Press and Media Development, Modern Mayembe.
In the next few weeks, as a ministry, we're going to lead a call for all the parties to come together to discuss the future of film in Zambia as part of our media policy review. We will discuss more at this forum on how we can bring the film industry in line with the challenges and the new technologies that have come.
Shungu Namutitima International Film Festival Executive Director Musoda Kaseketi has challenged filmmakers to be relevant to the needs of society.
And then we realize that most of the time, artists and filmmakers, they usually don't talk about very, very important themes that matter in society. And that's why this year we specifically took climate change and the SDGs.
And More Choice Talent Factory Academy Director Beri Rwando says More Choice is determined to see the dreams of filmmakers come true.
Our aim as More Choice is to be the driving force behind the development of future talent to help build and strengthen this creative industry. In the last 3 years, More Choice through Zambezi Magic has broadcast well over 1,300 hours of local produced content on DSTV.
The festival that saw deserving individuals being awarded for their contributions to the film industry was celebrated under the theme, Look, Think, Talk About It and Take Action. Mombe Hamobola, ZNBC News in Livingstone.
Information and Broadcasting Services Permanent Secretary Chanda Kasolo has called on media houses in the country to up their game in producing local content. Mr. Kasolo says the Zambian broadcasting and film industry should strive at producing high-quality content which can replace foreign content. The Permanent Secretary was speaking shortly after inspecting ZNBC's stand at the Agriculture and Commercial Show in Lusaka. Ellen Hambuba reports.
India's second largest stainless steel manufacturer.
As a leader in digital broadcasting in the country, the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation ZNBC has positioned itself to improving service delivery. With the state-of-the-art equipment in place, what lies ahead is investing more in content. Information and Broadcasting Services Permanent Secretary Chanda Kasolo has visited the ZNBC stand at the ongoing Agriculture and Commercial Show. Mr. Kasolo wants ZNBC and other broadcasting stations in the country to start producing more local content which can replace foreign content.
We want the same here. The content must be here to replace the foreign content. Let's get our children to understand being a Zambian. Be proud to be a Zambian. Be nationalistic about Zambia. That is very, very important. I'm very passionate about the fact that I must get our children, our grandchildren, to be able to enjoy Zambian content.
So far, government is constructing 8 additional provincial television studios which will beef up production of local content materials.
That alone with equipment is tens of millions of dollars worth. And I personally have nothing to regret about this project. Equipment we have specified comes from the best. We've got Siemens, we've got Sony, we've got, yes, absolutely. The best equipment that we can get. It's expensive. You know, I believe that cheap is expensive. We didn't want to go and get things that 2 years down the line you're replacing everything.
And ZNBC Director General Richard Mwanza informed the Permanent Secretary that local and foreign institutions have been visiting ZNBC studios to appreciate the state-of-the-art equipment that government has invested into ZNBC.
Actual equipment that has been installed. We have equipment from Japan, France, Germany, and so on and so forth. A lot of brainwork went into the digital migration. We have countries that have come to Zambia.
And they're still coming?
Yes, to come and see what we have done.
Ellen Hambuba, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
An undisclosed amount of money has been burnt to ashes in a house rented by a Chinese national in Kitwe's Chachacha area. The fire, which started around 23 hours last night, was only put off when fire units from the Kitwe City Council and Mopani Copper Mines joined forces. Here's a report.
He moves around the room, salvaging whatever he can from the rubble. In this corner, this is where he left his passport. But because of the fire, he cannot find it. Worse off, money from his business has all been burnt in an inferno which raged for 4 hours last night. 100 kwacha notes were hidden in the toilet as the fire raged.
It's about 400,000.
400,000 kwacha?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And it has all been, was it just kwacha or there are also dollars and
It's a kwacha.
Just kwacha?
Yeah, it's a kwacha.
This Chinese national was renting the house in Chachacha area of Kitwe. This loss has left this community devastated.
The Zambians, we are lagging behind in terms of ensuring property, especially housing units. People should now take this as a learning point to ensure that they insure against fire.
Ninganda ya mwana iche wanzi. So bakasa ntumina chinganda yapya so funa chisa kusasanga chachine na mafabricate ya yale shimia. Nombe mwanjini na chitupera bulanda sana bantu watu research page kalamba sana.
So tulomba ko kubuteko kwebatifu inganda ye itusunga na bakalamba bandi. Chitwalomba ko fyo ino mchinese balanda ko fena kwatukulire ko fye nganda ifu. Tutuwalire ko zifomo tusungira abana bakalamba bandi ni muri ine nganda.
Officials from ZESCO have visited the scene to ascertain the cause of the fire. Paul Shalala, ZNBC News in Kitwe.
This is the main news at 19 hours. We now take our first break. We'll be back shortly with more news. So stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. We continue with the news. Some retired teachers at Munali and Kablonga secondary schools in Lusaka have made illegal extensions to the institution houses where they are living. More on this story in this report.
Behind this school structure is an extension of over 14 boarding rooms for rent at a teacher's house within Munali Secondary School. Small as they appear, some students are actually renting them at 500 kwacha per bed space. This student confirms to me this shocker of a story that the landlord is a teacher still in government service and from within the school.
So per bed space is how much, you said? 500 per bed space. So there are different schools? Different schools.
The school head teacher is crying for help for authorities to move in and bring sanity.
Any attempt to ask them to leave provokes them, and some of them, more often than not, they're enraged.
Still at the same school, some retired teachers are refusing to vacate, denying accommodation those still in service.
The government has paid their benefits. And going forward, there are some amongst them where the school has even gone further to pay them repatriation in order for them to leave these houses, so that these houses be occupied by the serving teachers.
This house is supposed to be occupied by the deputy head teacher, while this one is supposed to accommodate the head teacher. But Lusaka Province Education Officer Christopher Sinkamba does not want to take a liking to this situation.
Here is land for the institution, then you go to construct your own structures there. That is illegal. You know, that is why I'm saying this is the act of lawlessness. How do you do that without permission? So those illegal structures will be demolished.
At Kabulonga Secondary School, retired individuals are refusing to vacate, and they have their reasons.
All the 72 teachers who were transferred to Kabulonga boys are not accommodated, and this is impacting negatively on the delivery of quality education.
They should assist me. So if it means give me my benefit for my husband, they clear me, I vacate this house.
Authorities have since given a 14 days ultimatum for sanity to prevail. Ephraim Chiluba, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
Local Government Minister Charles Banda has advised residents in Kapirimposhi against vandalizing public properties. Dr. Banda was speaking in Kapirimposhi last night when he commissioned the 400,000 kwacha street lighting along Tazara Road. More in this report.
The residents of Kapirimposhi are happy because for the first time in years, they have street lights along Tazara Road. They have expressed their joy by performing various activities. This is after Local Government Minister Charles Banda commissioned the 400,000 kwacha project by the council. Dr. Banda says government will take development to all parts of the country and won't leave anyone behind.
The duty and responsibility to report anyone found vandalizing public property. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, government is committed to taking development to all parts of the country to benefit all the citizens.
Kapirimposhi Town Council Obikabasa says the local authority wants residents to have access to such services.
We are happy that our council has installed these street lights to protect us from being attacked by criminals at night.
For the Member of Parliament Stanley Kakubo, this development will attract investors to the town.
The street lights that have been erected do not only increase the beauty of our town, but also they improve the security for our local people.
Dr. Banda has, however, emphasized the need for all to guard this infrastructure against vandalism. Patricia Banda, ZNBC News, Kapirimposhi.
Time now for yet another break. On the other side, we'll have agriculture news, to stay with us. Some researchers at the University of Zambia School of Agriculture have discovered an indigenous tree which changes the sex of fish from female to male. A student in the School of Agriculture discovered the sausage tree, which increases the male hormonal flow in a female fish to change its sex. More on this story in this report.
A new discovery meant to contribute to fish production. Some researchers at the University of Zambia, Unza, have discovered an indigenous tree commonly known as sausage tree, which changes the sex of fish from female to male. The sausage tree was discovered by a student in the School of Agriculture. According to the researchers, the tree increases the male hormones in a female fish, thereby speeding up its growth rate.
The hormones that are very good at growth are testosterone, which is mostly found in males. It may be found in females, but in very small amounts. But in males, it's in large quantities. Therefore, it helps the muscle mass increase. So if you have a hormone that is increased towards testosterone, then your fish is likely to grow faster. And since a farmer wants to harvest as fast as possible, this has become a very good key to have more male fish so that they arrive at market age very fast.
And Unza School of Agriculture technician, Eunice Simwene, has implored fish farmers to take interest in this development.
We are teaching both practicals and theory. At first we didn't have the fish pond, but it was introduced last year. And normally we buy sex-reversed fish because the male fish grows faster compared to the female ones.
Meanwhile, the University of Zambia is impressed with the strides the institution is making in the field of research.
They need to engage the University of Zambia. Those that want to test, for instance, their soils, they want to know how they can breed their fish, they want to know how they can improve on their businesses in fish farming, or those that want to know how they can improve on their crops and so on. This is the place where they can go.
The researchers are optimistic that the discovery will increase fish production on the Zambian market. Lucky Piri, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
Paramount Chief Chitimukulu has praised government for the prompt payment to farmers supplying maize to the Food Reserve Agency FRA in the ongoing crop marketing season. Paramount Chief Chitimukulu says the development is commendable as it will help farmers to plan better for the next farming season. He has since urged government to ensure that agriculture inputs under the Farmer Input Support Program are supplied on time. The Munelo Wemba said this when Northern Province Minister Walia Chungu paid a courtesy call on him at his palace in Mungwi this morning. And Paramount Chief Chitimukulu has assured Mr. Chungu of the traditional leadership's support.
Minister, concentrate on work, not to be distracted in our statement, not the social media. I appreciate the concern Kuliva Ababa Matababa Ishtakash. As they assured me, they have been paying now. Very correctly, which is I appreciate that the government responded very well. They were number to competing very favorable.
To work together as a team. And after all, we only have one November, and it's only this one where we belong. So at the end of the day, if we don't consult each other, it is us to blame. So I will obviously be consulting quite a lot with you at times at short notice, and I hope you will understand and see how best we can move forward. I will try as much as possible to build on what my colleague, Honorable Munduvira, has left.
And that's all we had in Agriculture News. Thank you for watching. We've come to the end of the news at 19 hours. Join us for the next news update at 22 hours. Let's remember to continue supporting this great nation. From all of us, we say good night and God bless you.